tonight is not an agreement, and we would never get it worked out in bantering back and forth. So I'll put that in the form of a motion that we table it and ask Carl to serve as a committee of one to bring something back to us on the 29th. Do I hear a second?
Now that's, you said to hammer out something. I mean, I'll just sit with Jim and...
I would assume we need somebody from the Water and Sewer Authority, which we'll invite, the two of you together. Is that what you had in mind, Mr. Chairman?
That's what I had in mind, yes, sir. What we saw today, on paper, is beyond the scope that we
Had originally thought.
Yeah, and I know it's just a matter of wordsmithing it, but before we approve anything, it needs to be wordsmithed.
What I really need from you guys is what you expect. Okay, we're the politicians, it's your decision.
And I think we need to go back to the earlier motion that I think I made the last meeting, is that any proposal needs to be publicized and then let the public comment on it.
Sure.
Because if we go into let me, along with one of them, hammer it out or make suggestions to things that's not going to be...
Well, you're going to bring it back to this board, and then we will discuss it, at which point, if it's ready to be published, we can publish it. If it's not ready to be published, we won't publish it.
Well, I think both needs to be publicized. I think one is what they're requesting be publicized, and then what we say that we can do as a board or a suggestion.
And again, there'll be no trouble at all. You know,
I think it's got to be two ways here. I mean, what they're asking, if we look at it from now, I mean, I'm totally against what they're asking. So
I think I'm getting a feeling of uniformity among the board as to being a larger scope than any of you anticipated.
Very much.
It just needs to be in plain English.
Well, I get it in plain English, that's not a problem, but what I can't do is decide for you what services you're going to provide, or decide for the Water and Sewer Authority what services it's going to expect.
Well, and that's Carl has no vested interest in water and sewer.
Yes, I do.
Well, I know you do, but
I think probably
you don't get written about quite as much as we do, as though we ran just for water and sewer. Bruce can't, because he's never here. Will you agree to do that, Mr. Penniman?
I'll be willing to sit down, but like I said, I have to get comment from the board what they want.
Exactly.
Once we sit down.
You know what we've talked about.
Yeah, I would prefer that you communicate with Carl a little bit ahead of time, let him know what your objectives as a group or as individual members are.
Right.
All right. Is there a second to that?
I'll second for discussion.
All right. We have a motion and a second on the floor. Now for the discussion.
Well, the scope that we got this afternoon, because that's what it is, it's a scope. It really isn't an agreement, it's a scope.
Yeah.
It's like a cafeteria,
And
almost, as far as things.
And it's the first document out of the barn, so you
Right.
understand. It's not anything but suggestion.
And until, if there's an agreement, because we're just talking here. I mean, we're in discussion, we're trying to work out something, see if that we want to do it. But yeah, it needs to be hammered out. So, I mean, it's easier if one does it, gets with it, brings it back, publicize it, go from there, keep it out in the open. But as long as it's ever